Hey everyone, Josh here, and another interview with an incredible student that's just had some great results. Anthony is in Rancho Cucamonga and California, and he's just been certified, been hired, and he's got a really cool story. So, Anthony, before we get started, just like tell everyone a little bit about your background prior to like getting into pre-hired.
Yeah, so I've been in real estate for about 5 years, in property management and residential sales. And that's pretty much my only experience in sales. I was just getting tired of kind of the grind of trying to find people that wanted to sell their home and just not really looking. The future, I think, is not really looking that good for real estate agents. So I wanted to kind of do something else.
Yeah, that's it's interesting that you said that, Anthony, because we do get a number of folks from real estate and other outside sales industries, and what I've found just from like the thousands of applications we get a month, like 90% of people that are in those fields, like real estate or car sales, they're doing what you said, they're grinding and struggling, and the 10%, there is a 10% of those people that are doing really really well, but the reason why it's difficult is because if you like it's all about a local network and market. Like it's if you and your city are connected to like I don't know, a massive church where you know everyone and you're super outgoing and you're just always being like out there, like being friendly and bubbly, that works really well in real estate if you can strategically do that in multiple places in the city. But you're just like you're always on, and it's like you're always like a people pleaser. So it's a very selling houses is very very relational. It's like, do they like you? Well, you sell houses. Yeah, let me see if you can help me buy or sell. It's very relational. If they like you, they're going to use you. If not, they're not going to use you. But with tech sales and some of the, it's not so much do they like you. It's the first question: can you help me solve this issue in my business? Are you competent? Not are you. Do you have character? I mean, we're always asking about character, but it's always like, can you help solve a challenge that I've got in my business? Yes. Well, if you do that, I'm gonna like you. Like if you can't,
Yeah.
I don't give a crap how friendly you are. I got lots of friends. I got problems I need to solve. Like that's kind of, and so that's why I love tech sales, is because let's just figure out how we can help people and not just say we're going to help people like, and that's what you just said. And man, I did not expect to go on this rant, but I think this is really cool because this is some of the stuff that we're studying right now. It's like with real estate agents and some of these other professions, I think that it is going to be more and more commoditized, where there's if the real estate agent doesn't specialize in something really specific, like multi-million dollar homes in a specific area where elite people just don't want to take the time to go online to look, like, yeah, there's maybe a niche for that, but it's going to get more and more difficult because the sales jobs that are going to be still like here are the ones that provide a lot of value. They don't just say they provide value. Like they're not just being friendly, they're doing things to solve issues. And that's what I see happening in real estate. So, thanks for sharing that. And for anyone listening, I'm sure that they hopefully that connected with them. And man, what I wanted to ask you next though is you switched from a job where you're like in the field, shaking hands, looking people in the face, and you transition or you're thinking about selling. Now you're working remote from home, so it's completely digital. You're not ever meeting people in person. I mean, what was that like when you realized that when you first started discovering tech sales and how it's different? What were you thinking?
I thought it was great. I mean, the fact that I even found a remote job when I signed up for pre-hired, that was the thing that I wanted to do. I really wanted to find a remote job because one of the things about real estate too is that you end up driving a lot. Like I was putting, 20,000 miles on my car every year or more, and that is just an extra cost. So working from home seemed like a pretty awesome thing. And then I'll be honest, when I started pre-hired and I realized that only maybe about 10% of these tech jobs were remote, I was like, oh no, what's going to happen? But then I was lucky enough to find one, and it's definitely different, but I I think that it's better. It's at least for me. I mean, I'm sure some people love to go out and try to shake a lot of hands and meet a lot of new people. I don't mind it necessarily, but it's not really my personality to be like that, and that's why real estate can become a grind. I mean, like you said, unless you're really well connected, if you know a ton of people, it's hard to be successful. And then I can't even tell you how many times I've worked with somebody for like 6 months to a year in real estate, and then at the last minute they're like, oh well, I found out that my cousin's brother's fiance is a real estate agent, and so we're just going to use her. And it's like, okay, well, thanks.
Yep.
So going to something with a shorter sales cycle and being able to work from home and knock out more calls, more deals, that kind of stuff in a single day. That's really attractive to me.
Yeah, that makes complete sense, man. And working remote, yeah, it is about 10 or 15% of people in our program probably go for remote jobs like you. The majority aren't. And it's not because they can't, because actually to this day, we've not had one person that wanted to get a remote job and didn't. It's just that I do recommend in the program, as you know, first try to see if you can get a local job at an actual in-house sales team, because there's a lot of things you can learn from a local team that it's good to experience for 6 months to a year at least, and then go out. But I also tell people that if you just really want remote, go for it. Just know there's always there's a give and take whenever you decide to go remote versus the other. And ultimately, I believe remote's best. It saves the company money. It saves us drive time. We can work in my pajamas or whatever we want to wear. It doesn't really matter. And so it's a lot better. People normally are more productive if you're disciplined. That's the other thing. If you're disciplined, you can be more productive, and it actually works really well. So I definitely I love remote life, and I would recommend it for anyone that's thinking about it. But at some point, if there's some things you can get in a team that's in person. So, but anyways, you can do both. But anyways, thanks for mentioning the remote, because I know a lot of people are thinking about like I want to work from home. Like working from home is definitely possible, and it's actually pretty easy to do. You just have to follow the program, and that's what it is. And speaking of the program, that's probably the next thing I want to ask you, Anthony, is what was that like for you? Did you find it difficult? What did you like? What did it blow you away? I mean, just go, share your experience going through the material.
So I didn't really know what to expect at first. And then once I got into it, I was like, man, this is way more detailed and in-depth than I thought it was going to be. I mean, it's work. It's not easy, but it's worth it. Like if you take your time and you do all of the modules and you learn everything, it's so valuable. But I mean, it's not easy. So anybody that's looking for, just I'm just going to sign up and, in a couple of weeks, I'll get a 6-figure job. It's not that simple. You have to put in the work, but if you do put in the work, then it is an effective tool.
Yeah. Thanks for saying that, dude. Cause whenever we get applications from people that are looking for that, oh yeah, I'm just going to sign up in a couple of weeks, get a 6-figure job immediately. Like, no. It's not a get rich quick scheme. It's a real career. It's a real job. The only thing is when you have people mentoring you to do it the right way, like the way that all the top managers want people in their team to do it, you're in demand, but you still have to learn how to do it right. So I love that you mentioned that, because we always turn people away whenever we get that vibe from like, nah, go back to doing MLM or being a multi-level marketing person. That's what you're looking for. Like, it doesn't work. Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. So, and then what was it like for you though, after going through the material, mastering it? What was it like getting the job? The process to getting hired.
I think I ended up being kind of lucky. I only had to run, my applications. I did about 12 applications, so 12 different companies. I got, emails back from a few of them saying, the position was filled. And then there was 2 companies that I had multiple interviews with. One of them, I decided kind of early on that it wasn't really a good fit. And then luckily, the other one, the cool thing was that the program really did prepare me for the interviews. There were some of the preparation questions through the pre-hired program that were literally verbatim asked to me in the interviews. So I was able to, have my responses already prepared for those kind of questions. One of the things that an interviewer told me was that there were 700 people that applied for the job. And I was the only one that reached out directly to the hiring manager. And so that made me stand out tremendously. And if it wasn't for pre-hired, I would have never known how to do that. I would have never even thought to do that. So, I mean, yeah, I really can't say enough about the fact that pre-hired basically got me this job.
Man, thanks for saying it. Like, and I'll go ahead and say though, dude, like, yeah, we gave you the tools you needed and everything to learn and the mentoring, but ultimately you made it happen for yourself. And so congrats. I mean, that's awesome. I did not know that there was that many people that applied. This is the first I'm hearing of it. So congrats, dude. And go ahead and tell us where did you end up and kind of like what's the expected OTE and stuff. Go ahead and give a shout out to your company, because you're repping them now.
Yeah, so I got hired at Nice Job. They help home services businesses get reviews online. They use artificial intelligence to distribute those reviews across multiple platforms. They also have websites that are guaranteed to convert higher than your current website. So their base pay is a little bit low, but if I hit their top sales commissions, I could make six figures in the first year. So I'm pretty excited about trying to hit that.
And that's great because that's not normal. I tell anyone who interviews with us in the admissions interview, I always tell them the numbers. It's like, okay, 90% of our pre-hired members come out of the program making 60 to 80 in their first year, and because that's market range, and you can get in between there. But about 10%, the top 10% that really just select the right company, they find the one they really want to work for, and they're like, this makes sense. They follow the interview process. They ask the right questions to the company to make sure that it's exactly what they're looking for. When they do that, those top 10 percenters do make 100,000 in their first year. I just still tell everyone that's not average. So if you think you're going to be in the top 10, like potentially Anthony this year, just make sure you put in the work and you've done the research and you know what you're getting into. So, man, Anthony, thanks so much for sharing your story. The last thing I want to ask you is what I ask everyone is there's a lot of people that's kind of were in your shoe or they're in your shoes now where you were maybe a month ago or 2 months ago doing the research. They're considering leaving their current job or sales job, but they're still nervous. They're still worried. They're like, is this going to work? Like everyone's scared when we make a new decision to change something. So what advice would you give someone who's on the fence about making a change like this?
I mean, advice, I guess, would be, it's possible. You can do it too. If you're going to put in the work, just know that you're going to have to put in, you're going to have to put in the time. I was lucky enough to get it done pretty quickly, but I also spent a lot of late nights going through the modules and reviewing the materials and getting everything done. So if you're the kind of person that's going to make sure you do what you need to do, if you're motivated to change your life and get a new job, then I mean, I don't know what you're waiting for.
All right, Anthony, thanks for sharing and looking forward to catching up with you in the next couple of months after you've been crushing the first quarter in your company.
Yeah, I look forward to it. Thank you.